We know that sugar is bad for our teeth, and we often think that sugar is the worst thing we can put in our mouth. But you might be surprised that there is something that is much worse that you could be putting in your mouth. So first off, why is sugar bad? So sugar is a carbohydrate. And carbohydrates like this, when they go in your mouth, they feed a bacteria called Streptococcus mutans. When this S. mutans bacteria eats these sugars, then it will release acids as a byproduct. So it'll release this lactic acid that will kind of sit on our teeth and basically erode them and cause holes to form. And these are cavities. Now the good thing is we have saliva in our mouth. Our saliva has antibacterial properties and it can flush away these acids and these bacteria. So your mouth is basically this big war that's going on between your saliva and then these bacteria on your teeth. This is also why the frequency that you're consuming sugary sweets and foods matter a whole lot more than the quantity. Because if you're sipping on one can of Coke throughout the whole day, that's a whole lot worse than just chugging that can of Coke in one sitting. Because even that small little sip is introducing a whole lot of sugar into your mouth, and you're also going to be constantly feeding those bacteria in your mouth. Now, as opposed to if you drink that can of Coke in just one sitting, then you're going to give your saliva a whole lot of time to dilute those acids and also wash away those bacteria. Now again, it's not just sugar. Other foods are also bad and can cause cavities. One really common one is starchy foods. So foods like crackers or goldfish, all these things are still just these refined carbohydrates, which are basically just sugar going into your mouth and doing the same things with your teeth. Now, some foods might actually be worse than just sugar. If you look at a regular soda versus a diet soda, which one do you think is worse for your teeth? Now, I used to think it was obviously the regular soda because that one had real sugar. But now I'm thinking that I don't really know. They're both terrible for your teeth. Because even though that diet soda doesn't have sugar, it still has an acid. Now, a lot of times if you look at the ingredients, you'll see things like citric acid or phosphoric acid on these labels. You'll also see them on a lot of sticky foods like sticky candies and also things like gummy bears. Now we're going to talk in a little bit about why the citric acid and phosphoric acid are really bad and why you should definitely avoid them. But sticky foods in general should be obvious why they are worse than a normal piece of candy. Because foods that are acidic and have sugar and also stick to your teeth, for example, again, like a gummy bear or a lollipop that you bite into, that candy is not going to go away. That sugar and that acid in that candy is going to be constantly just stuck to your teeth. No matter how much saliva you have, it's not going to be able to wash that away because it's so sticky. And it's going to be constantly feeding that bacteria, and that acid is just going to be sitting and dissolving your tooth. Also look out for high fructose corn syrup. We already know this is terrible, but it's basically just liquid sugar going against your teeth, and again causing some of the same problems and probably worse than just a regular sugar would. But I want to go back to the citric acid and phosphoric acid a little bit more. We used to think that just any acid is bad for your teeth. If something is acidic, then it will dissolve your teeth. And this is true. Your enamel or your hydroxyapatite crystals in your teeth will dissolve at a pH of 5.5. Your dentin or the inner layer of your tooth will dissolve at a pH of 6.5. Now, if you've been using a fluoride toothpaste, then chances are the outside or the enamel of your teeth will dissolve at a lower pH, a pH of 4.5, because those hydroxyapatite crystals will most likely have turned into fluorapatite. But in theory, this is definitely something to take into account. If something is more acidic, obviously that's going to do more harm to your teeth. But the acidity level alone is not the only problem. The type of acid that is being used also matters. This is why things like citric acid and phosphoric acid are so exponentially terrible. Because on top of it just being acidic, they are also chelators. That means that they will try to bind to metal ions to try to become a stable version of themselves. So in the context of your teeth, when you have the citric acid next to it, it's going to bind to your calcium ions and leach out the calcium from your teeth, which will in turn weaken your tooth enamel. And this in turn will make your teeth more susceptible to demineralizing. So in other words, if you're drinking a diet soda, you might think it's safe for your teeth because it doesn't have sugar. But if it has the citric acid or phosphoric acid, which most of these sodas do, then these acids are not only going to just weaken your teeth, they're also going to enhance the ability to erode your teeth by leaching out the minerals inside of your teeth. And that's true even if they aren't as acidic as a different drink. So I think regardless, whether you're drinking a diet soda or a normal soda or basically anything other than water, it's a good idea to just rinse with water afterwards to dilute these acids and also wash away any bacteria that you can. But an even better tip I would say is just to avoid both. Avoid the diet sodas and the regular sodas. I personally just stick with water. But again, most people don't want to do that, so try to keep that rinsing with water tip in your mind. But also, keep in mind to check the labels of the things that you're drinking. Check the juice or the other sodas or diet sodas or even other candies that you're drinking or eating and see if they have one of these acids, the citric or phosphoric acid. Because let's say you're eating a normal sugar. Yeah, we know that's bad for your teeth and it causes cavities because those S. mutans bacteria will release this lactic acid. But the good thing about lactic acid is it's not a chelator. Basically, it will not leach out the calcium inside of your teeth. But citric acid and phosphoric acid will. Now, are they worse than just plain sugar? Well, we don't really know that. We don't have actual studies proving that. But you can make an argument that since so many people think that these diet sodas are safe and they won't harm your teeth like a normal sugar would, then people will be more likely to consume more of them, not knowing that they can actually still harm your teeth. And what's even worse is if they think they've been fine by drinking a diet soda or a diet beverage, that they're able to eat normal sugar on top of it because they've been so safe drinking just diet stuff with no sugar. This is going to become a double whammy because now you've been drinking this citric acid that's been weakening your teeth and also lowering the pH in your mouth, and now you combine another acidic beverage or acidic food that also has sugar, which is also going to end up producing more lactic acid on your teeth. It's going to become a nightmare for your mouth. The thing is, once your teeth become even a little bit weaker, they are automatically going to be more likely to get cavities. There's literally a term in dentistry called Mountain Dew mouth, and it looks just like meth mouth. Both of these are terms used when you see a mouth with a ton of cavities that most likely all need to get extracted. And if you look up Mountain Dew, one of the first ingredients is citric acid. So be careful next time you're looking at those ingredients, especially if you see that citric acid. If instead you see ingredients like potassium or magnesium citrate, I would rather go for those because those are a little bit better and they will not be leaching out those calcium ions in your teeth. Also, if you have low saliva, be extra careful. Like we talked about, that saliva is like a bodyguard for your teeth and it has those antibacterial properties and it can wash away and keep your teeth clean. So if you have a dry mouth in general, then you got to be extra careful consuming these acidic beverages and other sugary foods. It seems like more and more people are having crowded teeth nowadays. Was it always like this? I mean, it seems like more and more people now are getting crowded teeth and the rates have actually been going up. This systematic review and meta-analysis was showing the worldwide prevalence of malocclusion. Malocclusion is basically another word for having crooked teeth. They found